country in the world, and it is worth fighting for. It is worth bleeding for. And if it takes it, it's worth dying for the greatest country that this world has ever seen.
Yeah. Wednesday, good morning, dear America family. Blow it up. Let me see that wheel spinning, baby. Fly that American flag. It is hump day. It is the end of April, folks. I cannot believe we are headed into spring in America. Feels good. Feels good to be alive. Feels good to be an American. Feels good to have some common sense and control, man, even when it doesn't seem like common sense. Sometimes it seems crazy. The confusion, the wildness, the idiocy, just the lack of normalcy, the insanity that's out there. But you know what? We're cutting through the smoke. We're punching through the gray areas, folks. We're bringing it back to a little bit of black and white, a little critical thinking on here. Good morning. I want you guys to blow it up. I want to ask you guys a question before we get started. I want to ask you guys a question. How do you feel? How do you feel about the direction we're heading in this country right now? We're in a battle, folks. It is insane to watch the explosions and implosions and just the crazy, the mental illness on display, and the infighting and the outfighting and the devouring of each other. But I need to know, how do you feel about the direction of our country? Because I want to remind you guys where we could be. Let me remind you where we could be. We could have cackling Kamala Harris as the president of the United States. We could still have Obama 4.0 running the country. We could still have open borders. We could still have $30 eggs. We could still have gas prices with no opportunity to drill for the oil that's under our feet. We could still be, playing pussyfoot with Russia and Ukraine and China and coming down on a globalist level to be even with everybody else on the world stage. We still could be getting dictated to by Europe and the European Union. We could still have boys being allowed without any precaution, without any, anything standing in their way. We could still have biological boys jumping on sports teams and competing with our girls. We could have all kind of crazy stuff going on in the locker rooms and the bathrooms. Women would still be unprotected. Children still being mutilated. Gender affirmed, which means gender transitioned, without any pushback whatsoever. We could be having all of that stuff right now. We could have more abortions on demand where they're trotting out the trucks. They could be bringing a truck to your neighborhood for mobile abortions, just like they did at the DNC, jingling a little ditty like the ice cream truck in your neighborhood. You think I'm crazy, folks? That's where we were headed. That's the kind of stuff. That's where this country will go, left unchecked. But right now, I think it's being checked. I think we're seeing some people with some common sense bring policy back. We need more arrests. We need to see some more accountability. And I think we may see some of that. We're going to talk about it this morning. My name is Chad Prather. I'm here for Graham Allen, filling in for him while he's changing the world up there playing Captain America, or as we like to call him, the Patriot Hammer. Up there at the Pentagon, he's getting it done. So we're holding down the fort. So are you. So please fly that American flag, blow up that chat, click like, make sure you hit subscribe. And if, by some stretch of the imagination, you get the opportunity today, I want you to go to where podcasts are offered. That's the kind of thing you listen to while you're sitting on the plane and naked people are running up and down the aisle. Ugh, crazy stuff going on in the world. I want you to go to where podcasts offer. Leave a 5-star rating for the Dear America podcast program. That's what we deserve. That's what we deserve. We're up with you, bringing it to you every day. But I also want you to leave us a review, okay? Leave that review. It helps drive the show further up the ratings, which is good for everybody. It's good for us, makes us feel good. It pats our bobo and helps our ego, but it also tells our sponsors that they're free to love us. They're free to love us. This is a country of free loving, free markets, and God bless capitalism. Man, let's get into it before we do. We got an interesting show for you today. Talk to the folks at Birch Gold. Some of you guys, you're waiting on Jesus to come save you. Going to take you out of here. You're looking for the upper taker, not the undertaker. Well, I'd love for Jesus to come get us out of here. But let me tell you, you might just live long enough to have to deal with your retirement or have some kind of financial future and security. Birch Gold can help you do that. If you'll text Graham, Graham, to 989898, Text Graham to 989898. The folks over at Birch Gold will help you. They'll get you on the phone if you let them. Get them on the phone. Have a free, no obligation conversation, no pressure. They'll send you the information you want, but I say talk to them. Talk to them on the phone because you got that old 401k, you got that old savings account, you got that retirement account. It's doing nothing. Roll it over into an IRA backed by pure physical gold. Physical gold. That is the standard for all value throughout human history. And it ain't going anywhere. And Birch Gold, they're the leaders in the industry. They will help you if you text Graham to 989898. That's the phone number, 989898. It's a weird one. Just text Graham. Sometimes it just feels good to type the word Graham out. And you can scream while you do it. Are you kidding? You do Graham to 989898. Talk to the folks over at Birch Gold.
Oh, my God.
There it is. There it is. Let's get off the rails today, folks. I hope you guys are, you feel good? You feel good? Yes, no, yes, no. I want to hear it. Yes, no. In the chat, do you feel good about where we're going? The direction of the country? Yes, no, yes, no. Let me see a lot of yeses in there. Here's the guy that's, I love this guy so much, man. And he just keeps on rocking and rolling. And he is the voice of reason. Mexican Tony's here.
Good morning, everybody.
Mexican Tony's here.
Going on?
We didn't get any music. There it is.
There it is. It's fine. It's all right. And it got cut off. That's okay. Mr. Producer, it's okay. It's not a problem.
Oh,
We're
man.
good, man. Everything is great. Everything is fantastic. How you doing today, Chad?
Brother,
we never get back to you, man. How are you doing?
I'm
you're always
okay.
Like,
It's been a month, bro. Lots going on.
You're telling me, man.
It's been a month. You've been through it. You've had to deal with the tragedy and all the. It's been a month, and people think they know the things that are bothering me. They don't. I've just had to put up with a lot of stuff, and I can always tell it's the end of the month because my kids start texting me needing help with their rent and with their travel, and my kids were great until they became adults, and then they started needing more money. And let me tell you, the older the kid, the more expensive they are.
I'm gonna send you my Social Security so I can become your dependent too, dude. I'm here you go,
well,
Chad. I need some money, dude.
I've already written Zelensky. Yeah, these kids get more oil. I'm just saying they get more oil changes in a car than any kids I've ever seen. You know, my deal was I bought my kids cars. Nothing crazy, nothing fancy, nothing wild, just dependable. All of my kids, as they became 18, we've got a certain ritual that they do. When they become 18, I do certain things for them. They all have an automobile. Well, apparently it's been my responsibility to keep that automobile up as well. So a little bit of insanity. But, it's just parenting. I don't mind, and I'm blessed, and I'm thankful, to God to be able to do it. Here's another dependent. Here's another guy that I got to write off on my taxes. This is the guy that when he comes on the show makes your dogs go crazy. It's Party Foul Steve.
Where am I at? Oh, there. Chad, speaking of oil change and gas, it's that time of the month. I need gas and oil change.
No. No, I got to give props to Party Foul Steve. You guys know if you've followed us for any length of time, Steve and I have been together for 10 years. Party Foul Steve has been my road manager. He takes care of me out on the road, drives me around while I can get work done. And he's my buddy. He's my blessing. And I'm so thankful for him. We give each other a really hard time. But there's never been another human being that I can just be around basically 24/7 and not want to pull my hair out. So Steve,
that's sweet. The way you talk about me, you wouldn't think that. And
I was gonna say. I mean, before the show, there were some choice words going on there about the coffee yesterday. So
So those of you, let's talk about Coffeegate. So yesterday, let's talk about Coffeegate. Yesterday, the show comes on. Normally, I have 1 Celsius a day. This is my caffeine. This is my caffeine intake. I don't drink a lot of coffee, but we were out of everything, and I was giving Steve a hard time. I said, "You drink my last Celsius." I had nothing. I had no caffeine in the house, except that crappy little Keurig coffee maker down there.
You said it right there.
When the show came on, I said, "Steve, will you go get me a cup of coffee?" And he's like, "Oh, you're going to get all those microplastics." I was like, "I don't need this. Go, just please." So he comes back, and he brings the coffee cup back, and he normally you just do like the small or the medium cup and that way you get the caffeine. He did a large cup and then reran it again with a small cup on top of the large. So it was nothing but water with some dirt in it.
You don't understand. I don't know how to run a Keurig. I pushed the button and the coffee cup filled up half full. So I took the pod out, put a new pod in, hit it again, and overfilled it, and then I poured some of that out.
Now, let me just say, at your house, you and Tony, what type of coffee maker do you guys have? Y'all have the nice barista thing.
We have like 6 coffee makers.
But you have the nice Breville.
Except for Keurig.
You got the $800 Breville unit that grounds the beans for you and does all that. And now, while I've got an $80 Keurig, who paid for that Breville that you got?
That was a Christmas present.
Yeah, but who paid for it? Who paid for it?
I had your ex-wife.
That reminds me,
dude,
I gotta send her a check.
I have a Keurig also, but I scoop up my own coffee. That way I can not use a little plastic. Every now and then I do, but I like my coffee very particular. Like I don't like anybody making my coffee. So the fact that you're letting Steve make your coffee is one up on me because I have to make my coffee. Ask my wife. My wife was like, nope, I'm not making your coffee because I'm very particular about my coffee.
I don't even know how to make coffee, so I don't make my own. So
No. Let me tell you what Steve does. And Tony, Party Foul Steve's wife, Tony, will tell you. She just brought it up the other day. He's got his wedding ring on, and she says when he's sitting there in the living room, she said she knows when his coffee cup is empty because he starts banging that wedding ring off the side of the cup. Dink, 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 dink. And that's her cue to go make him some coffee. The other day, Tony, we were in Springfield, Missouri. We're at the coffee shop in the hotel, which did make a great Americano, which is to me coffee. Okay, so we're in there, and it's like $12 for 2 cups of coffee, which is stupid, but it is what it is. And Steve looks at me and says, "You got your card?" I love it.
Left my wallet at home.
I know, it's convenient that way. But I'm with you. I don't drink a lot of coffee, but I do like the Celsius. It's worse for you. I get it. All right, we're going to buy a coffee maker today, Steve. All right. Harry Sisson apparently has been dropped by his talent agency. I know no one cares about this little piece of information. He commented underneath this post and said that's false. And whatever, a DNC affiliated talent agency, Palette Management. I don't know anything about them. I've heard of them, but I don't know anything about them. But apparently the recent allegations of him having conversations with these girls, leading them on, getting Snapchat pictures, whatever it was. I don't know. I mean, who knows if they dropped him or not, but either way, I do know that he has been, hadn't been posting very much, and his buddy, his best friend over there, not Chris Mowry, the other one, has sort of distanced himself. Does anybody care about this story?
No, but Chad, I wasn't here last week, obviously, and you guys ran a story about him getting pictures from girls. Is that what happened? The allegations Is that what's going on? Because I thought he was gay. Is he not
we
gay?
all did.
I mean, that's very surprising to me. I thought he was gay.
They're trying to cancel him for being a boy. I mean, a man.
If it was somebody underage, that's one thing.
That's different.
Yeah.
But if they're of age, they sent those pictures.
Now, and I also say, and I said this last week, that if he's out there getting some attention from girls and he's flirting them up, chatting them up, I never read anything where he was trying to have an exclusive relationship with anybody. Now, again, I say these things. I'm not saying it's appropriate. But it's also not criminal if that's the case.
Yeah,
right?
no, I agree with that. I would like to know what he was telling them, just for my own information, my own knowledge. See what he's using to get pictures.
Steve.
I would love to hear his sales tactics, right?
Yeah, I want to. I'm a salesman by trade, so
Harry,
Okay.
Harry Sisson, the gentleman's quarterly tutorial on how to pick up girls, but. Again, this shows you right there what people will do when you're getting a little too much attention. And, listen, I've had my wild and crazy days. My skeletons, there's no closet. My closet got burned a long time ago. People make sure that it stays on fire. So I've had plenty of things in my life that I'm not proud of and I'm ashamed of. And I'm looking at this going, but thank God we all grow up, or at least try to grow up, and everybody makes mistakes. And I'm not defending Harry Sisson. I could care less about Harry Sisson. Be interesting, though, if Harry suddenly flips over on the conservative side and starts spilling the beans.
Well, that would be interesting. He's probably going to write a book, though. I mean, it's about that time. So that'll.
That's the thing. Everybody wants to devour their own and go after their own. And there's something to be said for all of that deal. Here's the way I look at it in the conservative movement, if you want to call it that, because there's a lot of people out there online. They're devouring each other. They love nothing more. And at the end of the day, you wind up with a lot of jealous people, a lot of envious people, because you know what they want to be? They want to be the king of the heap, the top of the hill. And I'm talking to conservatives. I don't care what the cucks on the liberal side do. But the people on the conservative side, everybody wants to be the top of the hill. They want to be bringing the most smoke. They want to be getting the most attention, and they want to shoot down anybody else that they feel like is a threat to that. Let me tell you, guys, that's a real slippery slope, because at the end of the day, the powers that be, whether it's the cabal, the deep state, the World Economic Forum, the World Health Organization, whoever it is, the BlackRocks, the Vanguards, the Soroses of the world, the Klaus Schwabs, all of those people that are out there, they want all of us eradicated. So even if you happen to disagree with somebody, or you're a little bit jealous of their platform or something like that, you better be careful, because you just never know who at the end of the day is going to come defend you and stand on your side. So be real careful with that, because this, you want to gut shoot everybody and then shoot them for not having any guts. I think we need all the voices we can get out there, even when those voices aren't, always the ones you agree with. Yeah, we need them all. That's my opinion.
One of the big things that I see a lot is they all want to be first. When they're bringing whatever against somebody or bringing in news, they want to be the first one to do it. And then it starts a whole nother argument on who got it out first.
Yeah. Yeah. This, go ahead, Tony.
Every time I see him, it's unfortunate just listening to his name. I mean, I'm just, one of those things where, there couldn't have been a more right name for a person than seeing his face and seeing his last name there. Almost, Harry Sisson. He is the epitome of a sisson. So
sissy boy.
Well, and I see people in the chat saying, "Oh, it's about boys just being boys." No, that's not what we're saying. Do not put words in our mouth. We specifically said it's not appropriate. And thankfully, people do make mistakes, but they try to grow up. I can't say what Harry Sisson's going to do. I know for me, I've made plenty of mistakes. And if the whole boys being boys argument, maybe you've never had boys, but boys will indeed be boys. They can't be anything else. And boys do have some things going on, especially when you're Harry Sisson and you don't have a developed prefrontal cortex and a lot of testosterone going through you. You're going to do certain things. I'm not defending him. I'm just saying that, this kind of stuff right here, it's going to happen. So if you're going to put yourself out on a big platform, you better learn what's appropriate and inappropriate, because, again, it's going to bite you in the butt. Mm-hmm. But this going out on the purpose of trying to crucify somebody on all these different things, yeah, I'm not in it. We spent way too much time on Harry Sisson.
Yeah, we did.
I like this story. I like what's coming out, and I hope that Trump's going to do something. He is now opened up an independent, announced an investigation into the cop who murdered Ashley Babbitt. That's Gunther Eagleman's phrase right there. This was, of course, January 6th when she climbed through the window. She was shot in the neck and died there. Taylor Hanson was there. He's been on my show numerous times talking about this. He was there trying to administer aid. A lot was going on. She was unarmed. There's been a lot of stuff that's been spread falsely. She was an Air Force veteran, and this needs to be investigated, this whole thing. So I'm happy about this, and I hope they do something about it. What do you think, boys?
They can investigate all they want, but unless they're going to expose and let us know after that investigation what, how, everything, an investigation. I get tired of we're investigating, and then it goes away.
Yeah, I want to let's see the whole thing, or let's investigate the whole deal. I mean, there's tons. I mean, there's literally 51 million hours of video out there, surveillance video, that I think could be looked at and specifically identified and investigated, that would be very helpful in all this kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's all a little upsetting and enraging that when the Biden administration was in there and this happened, that it wasn't investigated then, because I mean we saw and we keep seeing all the BLM riots and all the DEI stuff going on when they protest and they're destroying and they're looting and they're destroying property, and nothing ever happens to them. They attack police officers, they shove them, they physically put their hands on the men in blue, and nothing ever happens to them because there's cameras out there and there's, people. But, this one woman, is climbing through the window. She gets shot, an unarmed woman, and nothing never comes of it. It's just, it floors me.
And then they go so far as to create a villain out of her, like she was some kind of domestic terrorist. Anybody that has talked about this story, again, Taylor Hanson, he was there. He saw the whole thing go down. He's walked me through it play by play on the whole deal. And the same as the Boylan lady who was laying there unconscious in the tunnel to the Capitol, and then the cop came by and beat her to death, allegedly, whatever. But that needs to be investigated as well, because they don't talk about the Boylan lady who passed away that day. They want to talk about cops being beaten to death. That didn't happen. That did not happen. So the people who did die, you would think there'd be an investigation on that. But again, they investigated it themselves, and they found themselves guilty of no wrongdoing. Now, speaking of wrongdoing, Jasmine Crockett, I guess this is going to be the thing we say.
This is the new AOC.
I guess the thing that bothers me is Jasmine Crockett is actually helping AOC to become more mainstream. This is what she had to say. We talked about it on my show. I know you've seen the clip, but for the sake of the show, we have to show it. This is what she said about Governor Greg Abbott of Texas.
Because we in these hot-ass Texas streets, honey. Y'all know we got Governor Hot Wheels down there. Come on now. And the only thing hot about him is that he is a hot-ass mess, honey. So yes.
Fellas,
Hot Wheels
are we dealing with we're not dealing with the brain trust here.
No, but Hot Wheels is not a new term in Texas. Everybody, I've heard it from conservatives, I've heard it from the right, I've heard it from the left, call him Hot Wheels for 10 years.
That's true, Steve. I mean, and the thing is that why is this? I guess I don't understand. I know she's not a great politician, and she's kind of one of those people who just came straight out of the hood. But I mean, really, why is it such a big deal? I mean, President Trump calls Elizabeth Warren Pocahontas. So I mean, it goes both ways. I mean, people are calling others names, so I don't understand what the big deal is. I mean, she said something that was kind of derogative. Oh well, I mean, all the politicians do the same thing, so I don't see what the big deal is.
Either you have to be offended by everyone getting called a name or no one getting called a name.
Now, let me just say though, because again, I am not a defender of Greg Abbott. You guys know this. You know my track record. Yep. I ran against the guy for 19 months. Let me just tell you, I'm not a defender of Greg Abbott. Greg Abbott, first and foremost, I'll play devil's advocate first, on both sides, actually. Greg Abbott's probably the third most powerful person on the planet when you think about it. I mean, I've always said, jokingly, of course, tongue-in-cheek, that there's God, there's the president, and then there's the governor of Texas. He will be moving into his fourth term. He's got more power than any governor in the history of Texas. He's done all of that from a wheelchair. When he was 26 years old, he was out for a jog, a tree fell on him, and he became paralyzed from the waist down. He's been in that wheelchair. Now, he was a Supreme Court justice. He was the Attorney General for Texas, and now for 3 terms, he's been the governor of Texas, and he's got more power than anybody's ever had. He also did tort reform so that the same thing that he made millions of dollars off of with the tree falling on him, if that were to happen to you today in Texas, you would not be able to get the same deal that Greg Abbott got. So a little bit of hypocrisy there. But a lot of people have referred to him as Hot Wheels. A lot of people have done that, but they're also not sitting congressmen or congresswomen like Jasmine Crockett, who is not only a sitting congresswoman, but she is from the state of Texas. Now, my thing there is, yes, Trump has called Elizabeth Warren Pocahontas, but the joke is she's not Native American. Greg Abbott is literally in a wheelchair. So she came back and said, this was a joke. I wasn't referring to him as being in the wheelchair. That's not true. What she said, she qualified by saying that just talking about the way he just runs all over everything. No, that's not what you meant. That double take right there is not what you meant. So now we got one of our representatives who is introducing a censure resolution. Censure, as we know, basically does nothing. We saw where Congressman Al Green did for his State of the Union deal or his joint address to Congress. But Randy Weber of Texas introduced the censure resolution. We'll see if Mike Johnson has the backbone to do anything about that. I mean, I think she should be impeached and removed from office. Patriot Oasis says basically the same thing. So that's my take. But, the Laura Loomer's correspondent has filed assault charges against her for what happened yesterday morning or the day before at the White House, which she put hands on him and slapped his phone. So, yeah. All right. All Family Pharmacy. Let's talk about that. We can talk some more about Jasmine if you want. Jasmine. But All Family Pharmacy, go to allfamilypharmacy.com, promo code Dear America. I went on there yesterday and placed an order, actually, and they got some really cool stuff, man. It is so simple. You go in there, you look at what you need, and like, let's say, for instance, you're looking for ivermectin. You go in there, you put your weight in there, they tell you what your recommended dose should be, and then you put your quantity in there, and you fill out all of your information. The doctor will review it, and then in about 24 hours, you get a response back, and if everything looks good, then they will send it to you in a couple of days. And so whatever you need, your various protocols, whether it's COVID, cancer, the antiparasitics, all of those things, whatever you're looking for. Or if you're looking for just amoxicillin or prescription, antibiotics that you may not be able to get in the middle of the night, but you need to have them on hand, they will help stock you up. They've got the weight loss stuff, they got the ivermectin, they got all the other words you can't, the mebendazole, all the stuff. And they got all the emergency kits as well. So head over to allfamilypharmacy.com and use promo code Dear America, which reminds me, I need to check my email and see what they came back with me on that yesterday, because I placed an order yesterday. It was last evening I did. I love them over there. They're good folks. Allfamilypharmacy.com. Use promo code Dear America. Oh, Fonnie Willis down there in Georgia. You remember she went after Donald Trump back when all the indictments. Doesn't it feel like the indictments and all the stuff, the lawfare that Donald Trump was going through, doesn't that seem like just forever ago? Like just it's been forgotten, all of this stuff?
I think so. Just because this first, how many weeks are we in of his presidency now? Are we?
I don't know. I don't know.
It just, that has went by so
12
lightning
weeks,
fast. Yes. So that's went by so lightning fast, and everything that's been done is that anything prior to that seems forever ago.
Well, she got so discredited because of it became public that she was using taxpayer funds and using money to pay her boyfriend and also her legal assistant guy, the other attorney, Nathan Wade. And Nathan Wade even went on some podcasts and was talking about this relationship and kind of, threw under the bus a little bit. Well, they were spotted at the airport, so apparently she can't get enough.
On again, off again. Can't. Never. mind. I'm not going to say it.
Who am I to talk? Yeah. The
can't get enough of that.
Easy. But Tony. People are asking where Tony is. He lost his sound. They're fixing it right now. So a little technical glitch. It's amazing that we're able to do these shows, and we're all in different places now. Party Foul Steve's in the next room. You're not that far. I can hear you through the wall. You got Tony in South Carolina, us in Texas, and Todd in Mississippi, and people everywhere. Mr. Producer's out in a place to be named later. But no, Fonnie, they said that their relationship was over with back in, I think, 2022. She's even testified to the same under oath. But apparently they back reading that Bible together. And yeah, Nathan Wade was married, right?
I think so.
Had a whole thing going on. Man, I gotta tell you, I'll do this while we're waiting on Tony to get back on here, see if he can get some sound. All right, we got a brand new partner. They're actually an old partner. They've been around for a long time. They've been a part of this show. They've been a part of my show. It's American Family Financing. There's people out there. I've been doing a little house hunting. I'm always kind of looking at real estate, checking it out, seeing what's out there. We're still in that market, which is very favorable to buyers. And I don't know what your exact situation is, but if you're like thousands of homeowners out there and you own a home, American Financing, a lot of people out there, they realize as American Financing talks to homeowners out there, they realize that people are struggling to keep up. They're barely making ends meet. They're drowning in high interest debt. And guess what? It's really not your fault. Life has gotten more expensive. You've had inflation that hit hard. You're carrying a heavy credit card balance with 20+% interest rates while your mortgage is sitting there untouched. And you're ignoring the one thing that could turn it all around, and that is your home. You could break through by using your home. How do you do that? American Financing can help you. Listen, let me ask you a question. Would you trade 10 minutes for a shot at saving an average of $800 every single month? I think it's worth that conversation because that's exactly what American Financing can do for you. Simple, no obligation call could change everything. They got a team of salary-based mortgage consultants. That's why I love these guys. They're not working on commission. So there's no incentive for them to tell you something or put you in a loan that doesn't make sense. No upfront fees to find out how much you can save. You need to call American Financing today and start feeling that relief. You call them at the number 888-675-4090. That's 4090, 888-675-4090. Call them on the phone. You can go to americanfinancing.net/Chad. But I encourage you to talk to them on the phone and get the information you need. Do a little research, americanfinancing.net, not com, .net/Chad, or call them on the phone at 888-675-4090. American Financing, call them today and start feeling that relief. Got to give the disclaimer, NMLS 182334, NMLSconsumeraccess.org. Check them out. They're good folks. I love talking to them on the phone and getting to know them. All right. Well, I got some breaking news. The full transcript of the Pete Hegseth text chain has been released. You guys saw the drama that went down with the...
Is there any redaction?
If I can hit the button. I don't see any. The Houthi PC small group. What a name. And so it's not classified info. It's not war plans. It's the pros and cons of striking now versus waiting a month. Again, the controversy was inadvertently, apparently, there was a journalist that was included in the chain. And, J.D. Vance basically states that he is not a big fan of Europe. And I got to say that I can't blame him on that. J.D. Vance said, I'm out for the day doing an economic event in Michigan, but I think we're making a mistake. 3% of U.S. trade runs through the Suez. 40% of European trade does. There's a real risk that the public doesn't understand this or why it's necessary. The strongest reason to do this is, as POTUS said, to send a message, but I'm not sure the president is aware how inconsistent this is with his message on Europe right now. There's a further risk that we see a moderate to severe spike in oil prices. I'm willing to support the consensus of the team and keep these concerns to myself, but there is a strong argument for delaying this a month, doing the messaging work on why this matters, seeing where the economy is, etc. So there it is. They were really trying to make Pete Hegseth and J.D. Vance and the Trump administration, welcome back, Tony, trying to make them look incompetent and confused. And you know what? It turns out, again, you don't want to have a journalist in the thread that's out there, but there was nothing that was said in this conversation that was top secret. There was nothing that was said that was classified. And again, to your point, Steve, there was nothing that needed to be redacted.
But Chad, Todd and I talked about this yesterday, and I was telling Todd, why is it that we have an app where any kind of civilian can just jump into that group? I mean, when you have sensitive information like this, shouldn't there be an app just for either the Department of Defense, senators, the president of the United States, the vice president, anybody who has who has access to this type of information, why is it okay for civilians like you and me to be able to jump into something like this? It should never be. This shouldn't have happened in the first place. I mean,
Agreed.
all the senators and all the politicians have that little check mark by their name when they're on X and when they're on Instagram, where you know that they have been vetted by the FBI, or they have, you know, that background check. Why is it that civilians like you and I could just jump into a chat like this?
No, I agree with you. And if you recall, you know, I think Barack Obama was the first person that talked about having his POTUS phone. Remember that, when he was kind of showing that off? Because prior to that, the president didn't have a cell phone. And so Barack Obama had that special encrypted phone that he was using. And I agree with you, Tony. I'm not read in on these scenarios, so I don't know. But to speculate, that's what we do on this show. We speculate and we form opinions here and talk about it. We should be concerned that a journalist was included on that deal. I don't think that Telegram or Signal or whatever it is, all these things, they kind of run together. It's hard for me to keep up with text messages and emails, much less signals and telegrams and all these other encrypted deals. But I agree with you. You would think there would be one major channel that executives in the administration would be using that has nothing to do with a public access type of app.
They would have to have two separate phones. They would have to have one that's government official use only, that doesn't include any reporters, because your personal phones, when you go into these apps, allow contacts. So it can see, it has all your contacts in there. If you create a chat amongst people out of your contacts, say you're scrolling through there and you're going to you ever put the wrong person in one of your chats, in a group chat? It happens.
I texted something funny to a guy that drives us to the airport the other day, JB. Juan, our buddy Juan, I texted JB something the other day that was meant for somebody else. And then you ever see something that you say that's taken out of context and it puts it in there and it's like, yeah, that doesn't make any sense to him and that sounds real weird.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just saying, with all the technology we have self-driving cars.
Right.
We can't develop an app that only lets the important people, the politicians out there, have access to this sensitive information. I'm pretty sure we can do that, but they're just not doing it, and they're just for this purpose right there, so they can just allow other people to see the sensitive information out there.
Yeah, and they do have that capability of doing that, and I think they need to, and maybe this will signal some changes there. Shout out to Hot Seat Todd, who is in the chat. I see you there, boy. We miss you, buddy. Did Todd say anything talking about that yesterday? Oh, what was the question I was going to ask about that whole deal? Oh, yeah. I heard that, I think it was Hegseth or the DOD, somebody said that it was a staffer that invited that journalist into the deal inadvertently. And it was that was the accident. There was somebody who did that. Of course, it's always a staffer that does it. I was like, please, dear God, don't let it be Graham Allen. Don't let it be Graham Allen. Don't let it be Graham Allen.
Well, what's odd?
It wasn't,
is that
folks.
I heard that who got the guy that got invited, the reporter that got invited, or whoever he was one of the most Trump-hating people out there. He was spewing off all kinds of awful information about him. So the fact that it was this guy, out of all the people out there, out of all the people in the United States or in the world, this is the guy that got invited to it. It sounds kind of suspicious.
That's a little fishy because.
Yeah, and I'm reading that some people say, yes, it was a staffer. It was no accident. You're right, Peg. And then Signal, you're right, Carson. Signal was created by the U.S. government. They should have kept it in house. I remember whenever the hostages, early on in the hostage days in Gaza after October 7th, someone that I know that if I said their name, you would know, was being tasked by the White House to potentially go get those hostages in a covert thing. He said, I can tell you certain things, but it will have to be on the Signal app. And I said, I don't want to know. I don't know. You know what? You do you, boo. Yeah. I don't want to know.
Breaking, Chad gets Epstein.
Yeah, I'm not interested in that information. So it's interesting to see. Well, I will tell you this. I don't ever tell anybody, but almost 4 weeks ago I was at the White House and I was there in the Oval Office. And while I was there, one of the things that I took away, besides an empty Epstein binder, it wasn't empty. It had pages in it, but it wasn't new information. Some, but not much. But one of the takeaways that I had there was that there was a sense of these are real people doing this job. And because I was watching the different cabinet members that were there in the office that day, and I got a sense that there was an openness of conversation and things. And I was like, I do think that this administration, to the degree they can, are trying to show you that they are real people and they are trying to do the best job to put America first. They are trying to issue in a golden age, and they're trying to be transparent. And I think one of the things to prove that is the number of questions that Donald Trump has taken from the press versus the past two presidents. Mm-hmm. So look at this. This is astounding. In the first month of an administration, Barack Obama took 161 questions. Joe Biden took 141 questions. And Trump took over 1,000 questions. And I know people say, well, that's Trump. Trump likes to talk. But at least he's taking the questions. Mm-hmm. So I like that.
I enjoy it. I was driving yesterday and listening to talk radio news, and all of a sudden Trump goes in and I don't know where he was at or what he was doing, started answering questions, and they went live to him answering questions.
Well, and I thought it was funny when he was sitting around the table yesterday, and Caitlin Collins asked a question. He goes, I didn't call on you. I didn't call on you. Didn't call on you. I like some of this stuff that's happening with the, quote, investigations. I want to see some results from the investigations. I don't need to see Attorney General Pam Bondi on Fox again talking about investigations. Let's see some results here. So if you think you're having a bad day, hang on. If you think you're having a bad day, you could be Adam Schiff. You could be Adam Schiff for a lot of reasons. But President Trump has ordered an immediate declassification of all the FBI documents relating to the Russia hoax, which, of course, is Crossfire Hurricane. I'm sure a lot of documents and a lot of things have been destroyed. But Adam Schiff, you never forget, he sat there in that congressional hearing while he was sitting up there, as pompous as he could be, saying he had unequivocal truth, unequivocal information that placed blame and guilt squarely on the shoulders of Donald Trump. We never got any of that information. Let's see what comes out. What were you boys going to say?
I was just saying, before you can do any kind of investigation, you got to put a bipartisan committee together to see if there's enough stuff to put an investigation together, which...
Sort of like a grand jury.
Yeah. It gets insane how much you have to do just to find out answers.
Yeah. Is this a clip? Can we play this clip? This is Trump.
We have a presidential memorandum for your attention. This memorandum requires the immediate declassification of all FBI files relating to the Crossfire Hurricane investigation. This was obviously one of the instances of the weaponization of law enforcement powers of prosecution against you and others. We believe that it's long past time for the American people to have a full and complete understanding of what exactly is in those files.
Which gives the media the right to go in and check it. You probably won't bother because you're not going to like what you see. But this was total weaponization. It's a disgrace. Should never happen in this country. But now you'll be able to see for yourselves, all declassified.
Yeah.
Is that correct? Would
Yes,
you
sir.
say? All declassified?
Yes, sir.
Everything?
The FBI file with there's a classified annex, but other than that, we'll put everything in the public eye.
Pencil neck. There it is.
Is anybody
There
going
we
to
are
look?
calling names. Pencil neck.
What about you? You going to look?
Pencil neck.
That's a
And then,
disability.
sort of a handicap. There's nothing he can do about that. He can do all the neck
Frankly,
exercises
the
he
FBI should
wants.
be ashamed of themselves, and so should the Department of Justice, and so should Biden.
I'm gonna play the devil's advocate here a little bit because that's what I like to do.
I love it.
As much as I would like to say, yay, he declassified everything. We just saw what happened with the Epstein files. I mean, as we just talked about, Chad. I mean, there wasn't much there. I know that they're releasing it, but really, how much of it are we gonna see? I know that Schiff went after him, and I hope that if Schiff did something illegal, I hope they go after him and they prosecute him to the fullest extent of the law. But we have so much other things that we need to do for this country to get us back on track. How much money and how much energy is going to be wasted going after him, and see all the files that like you just said, they probably destroyed a bunch of the files. So really, how much are we going to be able to actually see what happened behind closed doors, and how much energy and time are we going to waste on a possible witch hunt that we're not going to be able to find out what actually happened.
Well,
So,
I hope that if a true investigation were happening, if we were really trying to get to the bottom of these types of things, Gunther Eagleman says if you think Adam Schiff should be investigated for treason, if we're dealing with treason, then you have to uncover it because you don't want this ever repeated. This was a weaponization of the Department of Justice against a political opponent. They created this whole Russian collusion hoax, everything from the Steele dossier that was paid for by Hillary Clinton and the DNC. The Mueller investigation, which was, $30+ million in 2 years of our life. So how much time went into that? If it can just be exposed, we should expose it. There's there's a lot of things from the past. I wish we were exposing things like Fast and Furious when Eric Holder and Barack Obama were gun running to the cartels that ended up in the loss of life of a Border Patrol agent with American guns. There's a lot of things I wish we could get to the bottom of. Are we ever going to? Or are we just going to keep talking? I want to get to the bottom of it.
And that's my concern there.
Yeah.
Obviously, we see all the stuff that we could go after. Look at Hillary Clinton and the whole laptop thing. I mean, there was potentially so much evidence there that nobody went after it because she is a powerful politician. And are we going to just waste time and energy trying to go after Schiff here? And are we ever going to get anywhere is what I'm asking.
Well, I wonder, I'd love to hear what folks in the chat have to say. I'll tell you my take on that as you're talking, Tony. Here's what I think. I think that maybe nothing gets done about what has happened, but maybe something gets done about what could happen in the future. Does that make sense?
That's very true. Yeah, no, absolutely.
Does that make it right? No, but
no, it doesn't. But at the end of the day, I would just like, instead of wasting all the taxpayers' money, I would just like to see all these people get Epstein. Just, sorry, yeah. I mean, really, that's what it comes down to. Somebody just
some
needs
accountability.
Street justice, man.
Yeah, I mean, seriously, it comes down to just exactly street justice. Jailhouse rule. Just take one of them out, and they know maybe the rest of them will get in line.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that needs to be investigated about a lot of people in there. That needs to be a reality show. Tony Estrada's Street Justice. Dun dun dun.
Dude, let me.
Dun dun dun.
Freaking, I'll go 007 license to kill on everybody, dude. Let's do it.
Well,
we still don't know what's in Area 51, y'all.
Party party with the Area 51.
I'm like, somebody's got to let that stuff out.
The Crossfire
that's the kind of stuff
thing,
I'm interested in.
I think that's a big deal. I do think Crossfire Hurricane's a big deal because of the political weaponization of the DOJ against an opponent, and it leads back to Obama. That is Hillary. That is all of the nefarious things they did to corrupt and collude, and what it exposed is the DNC were the ones who were doing the collusion. Yeah. Their accusation is their guilt. They say that about the right all the time, but that's simply not true. Their accusation is their guilt. The thing that they are accusing of us is the thing that they're doing. So this is one that I would like to get to the bottom of. I mean, we're just stacking up.
We got no resolve. We got no resolve from the JFK files. I mean, we still left with assumptions with all that released, and so I don't think they're going to release anything that's going to give you something to pinpoint someone and nail them to the wall.
Well, here's the thing that I say, and that is this: we already know enough to know they're guilty. The Benghazi thing with Hillary Clinton. She used the bleach bit. They destroyed cell phones with hammers. She was using a private server. I mean, forget the so-called scandal. If you're going to talk about a Signal app and communicating between J.D. Vance and Pete Hegseth, and there's a journalist in there, let's talk about Hillary Clinton talking about yoga classes with her daughter on a private server. That was her excuse. And they're trading top secret files and classified information, and then the Benghazi thing, and we already know enough. We know the Steele dossier was bought and paid for. We know the Mueller investigation was one big hoax. They found literally nothing. We know Donald Trump, and by the way, all these people that say that Trump is Putin's puppet, just 2 weeks ago, Trump said, we're going to put sanctions on Russia if they don't play ball that will destroy their economy. If you're willing to do that, you're not their puppet. But the media was dead silent on that statement.
Right.
Can you imagine Hillary doing yoga in that muumuu?
Why, Chad? Why? Why?
Oh, boy.
Some goat yoga.
I'll tell you what I like. Here's another executive order. Here's another EO. Trump has signed an executive order to secure the elections. They're losing their minds over this.
This is beautiful. This is something needed to have been done from the beginning. I don't even understand why it wasn't.
You cut federal funding to the states that refuse to take the steps to secure the election. Homeland Security resources are used to ensure illegals are not voting. Citizenship question for those who are voting for the first time. DOJ is going to pursue election crimes. I've said for years they should somehow legally just basically clean the voter rolls and let everybody re-register. I mean, your passport expires, so does your driver's license.
But that's racist.
Everything is racist, dude. Diets are racist. We talked about it on my show yesterday. I mean, white women are losing weight faster than black women on the same diet, according to that girl that's never seen a treadmill in her life. So everything is racist at this point. And you know what? Jasmine Crockett came out and said, she made a tweet late last night, I think it was, about how, what's going to happen with people who got married and their name's going to change. Everything's got to match up on every form. Oh, and by the way, on the Jasmine Crockett thing, talking about Hot Wheels and all that stuff, mark my word, that she'll be playing the race card by probably tomorrow, Friday at the latest. She'll be on the news shows Sunday morning talking about how this is one big racist hoax coming against her. Same judge. This judge in Oregon. Now, let me back up here. I'm getting my stories confused here. It happens, dude. I get confused. There's a lot coming my way.
It's all right.
We showed you the clip the other day on the Title IX thing. We showed you the clip up in Portland, Oregon, where the boy beat the crap out of the girls in the 400 meter. All right, so Trump is now pushing for, he's going after Oregon, which is fantastic. Office of Civil Rights launches Title IX investigation into Portland Public Schools and the Oregon School Activities Association. This is great. And we got to protect our girls. Oregon is in a mess all because of this.
It's been in a mess forever, man. I mean, I'm from Oregon. I lived there for 30 years. It's been a mess forever. There's just so much DEI stuff going on over there, and the whole system needs to be revamped. And obviously, he's cutting the federal funding, which is a great step, because obviously, if you're not going to comply with what we want all the states pretty much to be, you can't. Right. I mean, you see this clip over here. I mean, you can't have boys competing in girl sports. And it doesn't stop there. I mean, you have to have a fundamental way of teaching our children when it comes to all the education process. And if they're not going to follow the guidelines that the federal government is setting out there, then cut their funding. I mean, you have to cut the head off the snake, in essence, pretty much.
And we have a worldview problem. We have a faithless worldview problem that has created confusion and called it normal. And all the legislation in the world is not going to change people's mindset who truly believe that a biological male should be competing with biological females because they're one and the same.
Where's the women's movement? And I'm talking about real women that are going to stand up and shut this crap down.
Yeah,
that's what it has to take. I mean, we can only do so much, but until there is a unified real women going against it.
Yeah, this is an interesting thing. Talking about legislation, or talking about judicial rulings. The Ninth Circuit Court, which has never basically done anything ever that's good, not in the last 8 years that I know of. The Ninth Circuit Court did something good. At least based on what I'm seeing. They overturned that rogue judge's ruling that was ordering President Trump to keep the border open. Yeah. They overruled it and said, no, Trump is right in shutting the border down. So that's good news. Now, that same judge that did all that was just assigned to the Hegseth Signal text message deal this morning. That guy. Remember this guy?
Yeah.
This was
that's the guy that wanted the plane turned around?
Yeah.
Is that,
this is the same guy whose daughter works for the NGO that was making money off of these representing these Trinidad Aragua gang members. So he had all kind of vested interest in this.
He's a political activist sitting judge.
Right. These rogue judges are garbage, man. Because every one of them, to your point, Steve, they are all just activists and pushing through all this stuff. So the Ninth Circuit did a good thing. They did a good thing and brought it back. So shut the border down. Shut the border down. 96% down. I like it. I like it. Here's a good little clip you guys need to see. I think we try to encourage you guys as we get to the top of the hour. This is a father and daughter. They're taking a look at the eggs and play this clip right here.
Bro, look what our president did.
That's why you vote Trump.
That's why you vote Trump, baby. They were 30 and now they $10.99.
Dude, did that say that was $30 before?
Well, that's a big old case of eggs. That was like 2 dozen right there. Still expensive.
$30.
I mean, sometimes you got to get it from that golden chicken.
Dude.
Some of them laying hens got...
And I know Trump is doing what he can to bring it down. Obviously, what was it? Was that the Biden administration that had all the chickens killed because of the bird flu? Is that what that's what happened, right? But still,
like 116 million birds.
Can you imagine a household of 6 kids, 5 kids, and just for breakfast, you're gonna use at least a dozen, maybe 18 eggs to feed everybody. You have 5 or 6 kids, the parents there. I mean, that's crazy, dude. $30 for eggs.
Yeah, and even $11. $11 is way too high for that box of whatever it was, 24 or 30 eggs. I don't know what it was.
That's crazy.
I mean, that's pretty crazy. But it got out of control.
That's the people that can afford those jumbo grade AA eggs.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's nuts, man.
Man, I miss Todd and Royce.
Where are they at? No, I'm not replacing Todd.
No.
I'm on the Chad Prather show, so I'm
Party Foul
I
Steve
just
filling
happened
in.
to be here this morning.
You can't replace Todd, first of all. You just can't replace Todd. And I mean, we haven't heard the word epitard in a minute.
I know, that's true.
But he will be back on his show today at 3:00 hot seat.
You know what? I'm about to use the word epitard. I'm going back on the voting thing. All these epitards that are freaking out with all the things you need to do now to be able to vote. I mean, that's just like Steve said, it's just common sense. I mean, why not do you have to be a U.S. citizen. You have to do paper ballots. All that. Why not? I mean, it's just like you just said. When your license expired, let's everybody go out there. And I know it's going to be a pain in the butt to re-register as a voter, but as a U.S. citizen, this is the things that we have to do. It takes work to get our country back in order, and every U.S. citizen should be like, yeah, I'll re-register, no problem, because I have nothing to hide. I am a legal U.S. citizen. I want to re-register to vote. Absolutely. Put me on the top of the list. I will go out there and re-register first. I'll take all my family with me to re-register. I have nothing to hide.
If they were having to go down to the official building to pick up a check and show their ID and all that, they would do it in a heartbeat. They would all of a sudden find all the paperwork they needed if they were going to pick up a big stimulus check or something.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Well, you're exactly right. And the insult to me to say that the black community, hate that phrase, but that's what we got, to say that black people aren't smart enough or capable of going and getting an ID or changing their name on their address or changing their name on bills and documents whenever you get married. It's literally not that hard, guys. I went and had to do a TSA pre-check update thing the other day. I literally, Party Foul Steve and I drove over to the mall and I handed him my passport and bam, it was done at a kiosk in the mall. For crying out loud. It's not that hard to get stuff done. So, but everything is racist, including the sun. So, you know what? You know who's persecuted more than anybody is Tesla Cybertrucks. Tesla Cybertrucks should start identifying as here's play this clip right here. Enjoy this. He's identifying as a Toyota.
That is smart.
Put the Toyota label, the logo across the back of the Cybertruck. I here where I live, in the area where I live, I mean, I see nothing but Teslas. Teslas are everywhere around
All
here,
over the
man.
place.
I mean, it's crazy. But you ain't. This is Texas. Be careful how you behave around here.
No, man. No jokes aside, Chad. I think, and you too, Steve. I feel bad for you guys, man, because you guys can't say a dang thing. I mean, me being a Latino, I can joke about my black friends and I can joke about my brown friends, but as soon as you guys say something, it's racist. I mean, the black community can say the N-word. The brown people can say sometimes, I guess, the N-word to our black friends. But as soon as you guys say it, it's racist. Man, you guys are the most persecuted community.
Oh, it's
out
impossible
there, really.
to be a straight white conservative cowboy hat wearing male. It's a hard life out here. It's a hard life.
I'm 0.2% African American, so I got a little room.
Yeah, dude. But you can't walk into a room of black people and say anything, man, because you'll get freaking
not out
strung
loud,
up, man. You
my
get
buddy,
strung up, dude.
My buddy over in East Texas, he's also an attorney. He's a comedian, Rocky Deer. He did a show with me New Year's Eve. He's going to do a show with me. We're doing a show in East Texas for July the 5th. It's going to be called I Plead the Fifth. Something like that. I Plead the Fifth comedy show with Chad Prather. Anyway, Rocky Deer is Indian, like not Native American Indian. He's Indian. And he can pull off that stuff all day long. And I'm like, see, dude, that sucks because you can get away with this stuff. You can do the Apu stuff.
And in reality, nobody should be able to get away with that stuff, man. I mean, nobody can.
It should be rules for everybody. If you're going to set the rules, first of all, I think that free speech is free speech. There's no such thing as free speech, or no such thing as hate speech or disinformation or misinformation in a world where you have critical thinking and common sense. I don't believe that. But I understand decency. Go back to the Harry Sisson thing. I believe in things that are appropriate. I believe in decency. I believe in trying to live the absolute best life you can. And if it's gonna be hurtful to somebody else, people always get mad at me for saying things to people online when I go after the trolls, and they're like, Chad, this is so mean. Would a Christian say that? Well, this one does. Because I'm going to approach you the way you approach me. You approach me nicely, I'll approach you nicely. We can have a conversation. Mm-hmm. But if you come at me, I'm just sorry, I'm not sanctified enough. I'm probably going to come at you the same way, same speed. And sometimes I look at it and I'm like, maybe shouldn't have said that, but then whatever.
Yeah, no,
I'm
with you, Chad. I mean, I try not to see color when people are talking to me. I see ignorance more than anything. Doesn't matter if you're white, black, brown, yellow, whatever. I've said that more than once. If you come at me with respect, I'm going to treat you with respect. I don't care about the color. But if you come at me being a douchebag, I'm going to treat you like a douchebag. So that's just, but that's just the way I was raised. I don't see color. I see the way you treat people. So
yeah, I agree. Same way. All right, what do we got? I think that's about it. We'll get into some super chats here in a minute. If you want it read, it's $5 to do it. That's the rules. I didn't make them, but that's the way it goes. We got everything sent out to our winners, our Dark MAGA hat, our coffee cups. We got all kind of stuff going out here. Make sure that you guys are tuned in to Mega Mood tonight, as well as Hot Seat Todd this afternoon. I'll be around. I told everybody on my show yesterday, we're going to do some fun stuff on my show, man. I'm digging into all this dirt and nasty and grossness all the time. I gotta laugh a little bit, dude. God made us to laugh. And
we have a lot of fun over there.
We do have a lot of fun. So I'm on it too, 1 Central, the Chad Prather Show. If you jump on the Chad Prather Rumble, get involved with the chat. All right, we got to get into some super chats. We are right here at the hour. Every day we do this, and I know Mr. Producer's back there with his little sphincter puckered, thinking we're not going to get to all this stuff because there's so much stuff. But we're pros. We do it. We don't look like pros, but we're pros. We know what we're doing around here. Been doing it a long time.
I don't know if I'm a pro, dude. I'm just
a pro.
I'm just along for the ride, dude.
You guys blow up the chat. I know I'm not Graham Allen, and I'll never. No one can be Graham Allen but Graham Allen. And I love Graham so much. He's so good at getting you guys motivated in the chat and yelling at you and doing all this stuff. I'm not quite wired that way, but I do encourage you guys, for the sake of the algorithm, to get that thing rolling. I always say float those American flags in there, and let's get that thing moving, because that's what that does. It gets that algorithm bumped up there. So no Meggie Moo tonight. Is that the deal? She's on tomorrow night. I'm going to do a Chad's Church tomorrow. We'll pre-record that thing. And all right, let's see. Let me pray for us, guys, and then we'll go over to the super chats. Yep. All right, here we go. Gracious, merciful, Heavenly Father, we thank you that you are not only a good God, you're a happy God. You didn't get up on the wrong side of the bed today. You don't have regrets. You don't make mistakes. You don't get into a place where you are controlled by circumstances. You are eternal and you are consistent forever. And we thank you that you are consistent in our lives. We thank you that no matter what we're going through, that you have today and tomorrow and the rest of our days planned out, mapped out, and under control. Lord, we look to you. You are the source of our salvation, the source of our provision. Lord, you are the source of all things that we need for this life. And we thank you that we have the privilege and opportunity to depend on you, the creator, not only of the universe, but the creator of our lives and souls. Lord, we know the plans that you have for us, those plans to prosper us and to grow us and to make us a blessed people. So, Father, I pray for everybody in the chat. I pray for everybody listening to this show today that they would have a deep, meaningful, personal, eternal relationship with you in Jesus. And Father, we thank you that you are guiding us into the days ahead. We pray for this administration. Lord, we pray for our enemies. We pray for all those who would persecute us. As your word says, we bless and do not persecute. So, Father, we speak blessings on those, and we pray that you would silence the mouths of those who would accuse and those who would consider themselves our enemies. Lord, silence them. Protect us, guard us, and hide us under your wing. Your word says you prepare a table for us in the presence of our enemies. And so, Father, today we celebrate and we rejoice at that table, and we do it in your name. Amen.
Amen.
All right.
Amen.
All right. All right. What do we got? Pop one up there. Chris Parks, 88, Air Force BMT graduation today. Proud bonus dad of Airman Aiden Espada.
Awesome.
Hey, that's awesome, man. That's fantastic.
Nothing like it.
Yep.
That is fantastic. Congratulations. Big deal. What do we got here? Peaches Mama. I love all you guys and the entire DA family. I listen and watch y'all daily. Prayers for every one of you, Tony. You are embraced in God's love and glory and all the hearts right there.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Amen.
Isn't that
Absolutely.
Awesome name, Peaches Mama. That's
Peaches
awesome.
Mama?
Some of the names you guys come up with here is just freaking
I know.
awesome, dude.
Sheila May, Sarah Cunningham asked for prayers for her. She won't be okay. The lung transplant, okay. He won't be okay. The lung transplant, okay, because he's too weak. He needs a miracle. Well, we are certainly
praying for
a
you.
miracle.
Sheila. Sheila's a good person too.
Yeah.
She's awesome.
Payment 511. My metabolism and weight was stable for years. I was gifted a Keurig, and my metabolism tanked, and I gained 30 pounds. I called the manufacturer of the cups, and they can't verify the plastic in the cups. Yeah, it's kind of a dangerous thing. I avoid those.
I'm
I have the Keurig, but I don't like it.
Keurig.
Yeah. Again, 511. I now have a bun that brews into the entire pot in 5 minutes. Best investment ever. That's like Waffle House right there.
Those are
baby.
That's a great coffee pots right there.
Yeah. Sheila May again. Darn autocorrect prayers for Sarah's dad who needs a lung transplant.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Prayers.
I thought that's what you meant. That's what you meant. Wasn't sure. So thanks for the clarification. Peaches Mama again. The Dems from the left are pit vipers. Come on. Who's young, eat them from the inside out to be born. All right. Food for thought on all their actions. Harry Sissy Pants, prime example.
Sissy Pants.
Peaches Mama, I want you to write in the chat there. Where'd you come up with that name? Or is that a nickname for one of your kids or a loved one or a
little puppy named Peaches?
Little pet? I don't know, but that's a cool name. I like that.
Drummer for God, you guys need to look into Hassan Piker, a.k.a. Hamas Piker, an American terrorist sympathizer. Yeah, that's a story that's been going on for a while. Tonka, Chad, what you said after the Ashley Babbitt mention about the whole thing must be investigated. That is exactly what the Bronson case is about. It needs to move forward by we the people. Agreed. The Wolfman. Crenshaw to Tucker, I'll kill him. Crockett Chit to Abbott, Governor Hot Wheels. Free speech at its best. We all know people who do the same thing, just like the Bossman DJT. We love him, and we love y'all.
Yeah,
hey,
for sure.
You're going to get in that platform. I think everything is
sure.
free game. Is it appropriate? Again, I'll leave that to your interpretation. MX wife 859, Tony getting rogue, talking about these leftists getting Epstein. Stand back.
Listen, I don't promote violence, but if violence happens,
Sounded like it.
Except when I
Sounds
do.
like it to me.
No. What I'm saying is that all these politicians get away with so much crap. I mean, stuff that we would get arrested for in a heartbeat. Sometimes you got to go equalizer on them. Just take them out, man. I mean, I'm not saying you should. I'm just saying if it happens, I wouldn't lose any sleep over it.
Lisa Victoria, my 40-year brother's best friend from kinder lady is not a citizen, does not speak English. My brother told his friend after Trump won to get her citizenship. Now it's too late and our fault. No sense. Listen, I know people that, and I figured there was a follow-up. God did not say because we follow him, we're supposed to be doormats. Jesus even gave us instructions on how to handle these people. We dust our feet. Yeah, I agree with you. And I do know there's, I've heard a lot of stories from a lot of people. People have been in this country for a long, long time, man, and they just didn't take care of the citizenship thing or they couldn't afford it or whatever was going on. There are some sad stories out there. But
There are,
but there's also the stories of, my own cousins that came from Venezuela when they were 5 years old because their parents smuggled them in. But when they turned 18, they did everything they needed to do to get their citizenship, and now they're a citizen.
And that's where I'm coming from, because my family did the same thing. I mean, we went through the proper channels, they got their citizenship. I was born in California, so I have I'm a U.S. citizen. But I've seen so many people. Most of the opponents of people who are here illegally are the people who did the things legally. So they're the families that came in here, waited their turn, paid the fees, did everything correctly. I mean, they waited in line, and all these people that are in the country illegally, they are trying to jump the line, and all the Democrats are trying to help them jump the line. They're trying to help them do things illegally. Yeah. So they, a lot of the hate that are coming out there are not just from the white KKK people who want the immigrants out of here. They are getting the hate and the opposition from people who did things legally. And they want them to do the same thing. They want them to wait their turn, wait in line, do things legally, because that's the way our country is set up. You break the law, you're gonna have consequences. That's just the way it is, man. I mean, it's just sorry, but not sorry, I guess.
Right. And I do believe there should be a whole lot, and that's a whole nother topic. But they need to expedite how citizenship is done. The process is.
I could have that argument with you. I don't think it should be expedited. I think it should still be difficult. I think it should be, but I think there needs to be.
It shouldn't take 10 years.
I think there should be a process to it that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because I do know people who have come here from certain countries that have been a whole lot easier than others, and I don't know why that is, but. Again, I mean, it may just be the way they approach the system.
Money talks. Money talks,
yeah,
man.
Money does talk.
Money talks. So.
$5 million it can happen overnight.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, money does talk. I know people that have the money and it gets through a little bit quicker, but anyway. Amanda Lee, USA, 1985. I truly appreciate the truth you guys bring to the table. One of the very few sources I will listen to and believe. Praying with everyone here is my favorite part. Have a blessed day. Quote, gentlemen. All right. I hear you.
I like that.
I hear you. Loud and clear.
I think they were talking to me.
Striker J.
So.
Striker J says, I do not ask for prayers for myself, but can we get some prayers? No DEI pilots today and Saturday. Love you guys and all of our family. I'll be in the air during Chad and Todd's show.
Yeah. Striker J is coming to South Carolina. He's going to be at Graham's wife's, Alyssa's organization, Asher House, is having a gala. Yeah, they're having a kind of gala, and Striker J is coming down to hang out. So yeah,
that's cool. We're still working on getting some shows up there in Rochester in the upstate area. Travel safe. I gotta fly Saturday and Sunday, and then next week. These little commuter jets, not a fan.
Yeah, especially because on those jets, the pilots are younger than us. And so anybody that's younger than me that's flying a plane,
Everybody's
always
younger than you.
Yeah, I know.
I was waiting for that.
Tyler 32963. I don't want pilots older than you.
I know it's like I don't know where that magic number is, but know, 21 scares me a little bit. And on the small planes, they have some young pilots.
The magic number, Steve, is don't crash the plane. That's the magic number.
I mean, I've had 16-year-old pilots. That's a true story in North Dakota. Have you guys seen or heard they've leaked a convo of J.D. Vance bashing Elon? It's concerning. We have friction in the party.
Uh-oh. No, I have not.
I've heard it. I don't know what to think
have?
of it. Again, when I heard it, I was like, I'm at a point now where everything's a grain of salt. It could be AI. I don't know.
Or define bashing. I mean,
well, he was pretty strong. Thing was pretty strong. Basically saying pretending to be MAGA, pretending to be a patriot. I'll let you guys judge yourself. I don't know. I don't have an opinion on that yet.
I mean, I think constructive conversations are okay. I mean, obviously nobody's perfect. So if JD's a smart guy, we all know that he's a smart guy. And if he has concerns, I think if he voices those concerns, I think it could be constructive conversations.
I think there's nothing wrong with if you don't know someone's genuine motives. And I think Elon, for the most part, is for the country and country first. But you still go in with, somebody that comes from that world, and all of a sudden they're right in the middle of all the politics going on. You have to have a little reserve on it and go, let's keep an eye on this guy.
Well, I see several people in the chat saying that they decided that was AI, and that's sort of what I heard. I've been around J.D. Vance. That didn't sound to me like a J.D. Vance type of thing that he was saying. It wasn't even his way of talking. So that's why I had some big questions about it, and I sort of dismissed it. Randall J. All, Tony, if we can't get them Epsteins, let's hope they get diddied.
Something needs to happen to those people.
They're probably already getting diddied.
Oh, we got a celebrity in the super chats. David Medina PDX. You guys need to follow him over on Instagram at David Medina PDX. Great content over there. Need to get him on my show.
Yep, David.
Hey guys, big fan of the show. The guy in the jersey is my fave. Now he's just trolling at this point.
I think he just means Trump.
Yeah, he means you, Party Foul Steve. Party Foul Steve's everybody's favorite, What else? I know we got another one. Let me throw my caffeine in a deal. I'm going to go buy a Bun coffee maker. That's what I'm going to do. Yeah. Is that it? All right, there we go.
Super chats. Well, thank y'all for letting me sit in today for Todd. It was I wasn't awake and I wasn't ready. I was usually, during the show, I'm sitting over behind the desk about to take a nap with my eyes open. So today,
well, for those of you who don't know, Party Foul Steve, he's a Marine. He's been on the road for me for 10 years, done a whole lot of stuff. He used to be on my show on The Blaze, and he's doing my show now and hanging out with me. We have a good time. And we're blessed to do it. We're headed over to Austin tomorrow night, speaking to a group of people over in Austin. So pray for us as we go into that cesspool.
It's always
Does that mean I got to wear a collared shirt?
You're a good guy.
Yeah.
I got to wear a jacket?
Got to wear a jacket.
Get dressed up. Gosh.
Yeah. You got to actually dress yourself.
You hear the disappointment in his voice. He's like, gosh.
You got to actually take a bath. Steve.
Actually, I like it. I like it a little bit. Just over the years, it's usually like, once a month we have to go, all right, I got to go put a jacket on, put a shirt on. So it's kind of nice.
And I will say, I do a lot of speaking engagements around the country. I've got 2 this week, one in Colorado, one in Austin tomorrow night. If you have an organization or a business out there, you guys want to have me in, love to do it. We have a good time. We keep a very full schedule, so we're not easy to get, I'll say that, but we would love to come if it's the right opportunity to be with you guys. Tony, man, I love you, pal. And we do miss Todd. We do miss Royce. We do miss Graham. And I'm so thankful for the Dear America family. Tony?
Yes, sir.
You're a hero, bro. You've been through a whole lot, man, and you're still going through it, and it's a lot with family. And be praying for the folks up in Oregon. Speaking of that, that's where you're from. David's up there too, Medina. Yep. They got the big storms coming through there.
They do, yeah. I was surprised to see that they got tornado warnings over there. So yeah, everybody stay safe out there, man. That's scary stuff. So yeah, other than that, hasta mañana. We'll see you guys tomorrow.
All right, brother. Party Foul Steve, anything?
No, all good. Follow me on Instagram at Party Foul Steve. Real easy.
There you go.
You follow me on Venmo at Party Foul Steve.
Let me find you, Steve.
I do love a free market capitalist. Yes, the event in Austin is it is a private event for an organization over there. All right, guys, my name is Chad Prather. You can find me at chadprather.com or watchchad.com. Sounds like an OnlyFans. It's not. Watchchad.com. Do a little shopping, redpillchad.com, or go to prathertees.com. We got different stuff on both sites, all kind of things. We're working on a one-stop shop for my website, so everything can be found over there, including my show. But as for now, join me back here on Rumble this afternoon, 1 Central, and we are going to have a good time. Don't know how, but I guarantee you we're going to do it. I love you guys. God bless you. Thank you, dear America family. Hit the like button before you get out of here, and make sure you share this with your family and friends. We will talk to you later on. Take care. Bye.